Welcome to this episode of the GymInformer podcast. I'm Chris Gilbert, co-founder of Classic Iron Fitness and your host for this episode of the GymInformer podcast. The podcast where we talk to gym owners of gyms that we've been to, worked out at, and done a review of. Today we've got Dave Blondin, the owner of Prime Fitness in Massachusetts. This is a really cool old school bodybuilding gym, and I'm really excited to talk to Dave about the gym. But before we get started, I'm going to show you some photos that I took while I was at the gym, and then we'll get into talking to Dave about the gym. Dave, you had a really cool gym, had tons of old school equipment. But before we get into the equipment, which I'm really excited to talk about, can you give us a little bit of a background of how did you go from wherever you were to now owning this fairly decent sized, pretty cool gym?
So actually I started with just a nutrition store back in 2011 and kind of grew into the industry a little bit more. Actually knew really nothing about gym equipment at the time. Had the supplement store for about 4 years or so. And then actually there was this gym that I'm in now was up for sale. It was actually just the top floor. And I inquired about buying it, and it was actually going to be a personal gym, get a few members, make it more like a kind of small little gym for us all to kind of get away at, and it kind of evolved into what we have now, a 3-story gym. But it's been a cool ride to kind of see as we've gone on. I've learned a lot about equipment over the years. I've met a lot of people, old school stuff, new school stuff. It's definitely cool to see how things have evolved and kind of gotten into that. So now we have both everything combined into one. We got the supplement store and the gym all involved into everything. So it's all one big kind of complex.
Yeah, it's a really cool complex too. And as you mentioned it, you've got a really good mix of old school equipment with some new school equipment. I used quite a few pieces of really old Nautilus. There was still some Arsenal and some Atlantis and some of our favorite new pieces. How do you decide what's your thought process, and how do you decide okay, this is a piece that's going to make it on the floor?
It's funny. So you say that. So when I first started, I actually got rid of quite a few rare pieces, as you could say, in the beginning. And I didn't really know how good they were at the time. I look back now and I'm kind of kicking myself, but I think it was just kind of a lot of trial and error. Did a lot of research. I flew down to a lot of different states and tried out some equipment. It's interesting because it kind of took a lot of feedback from members and whatnot, from some machines that I thought were really cool. Some people didn't end up liking them. Some machines that I thought were kind of a waste of space, people ended up loving them. But one thing that I've learned through the whole thing is everybody has such a different feel on what kind of machines they want. Some people will never touch the old school stuff. Some people will only touch the new school stuff. So I've kind of learned over the years that we do need a variety of all that different kinds of equipment, everything to kind of keep going. But yeah, it's kind of interesting to see how things have evolved over the years. And I'm kind of noticing now that some of these equipment companies are actually pulling back to the old ways of doing things, like Arsenal Strength. They're building a little bit more hardcore. But I think there was a period of time where a lot of these machines almost kind of did the work for you in a way.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of manufacturers are pulling back, modeling their stuff after the old school Nautilus or Nebula and stuff like that. So, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
It's
definitely cool to have, you see some people remake some of the old school stuff, but you can't put a price tag on some of these actually, machines from the 60s and 70s. I would way rather have the one from the 70s and remodel it than, have a new age, machine already made up that's similar to that, and it's not the actual original model.
Oh yeah, give us an old school piece of chain driven equipment, and we're super excited. So yeah, we totally are on board with that as well.
Yeah, we've had the Hammer Strength pullover machine, the plate loaded one, for a while, and I brought in the Nautilus pullover with the chain, and it's amazing how many more people like that aside from, the newer school plate loaded pullover.
Oh yeah, if you can find that old school Nautilus change driven pullover there, I haven't used one that's better than that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Phenomenal.
And yeah, and I mean I've been to probably 150 gyms in the last year and a half, and you had quite a few pieces of equipment that I had never seen in any other gym.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean that was pretty awesome, and that's a kind of a nod to how diverse and how cool your gym is, and I love the way that you had it organized by like body part. Is that something that you always set out to do, or did that kind of come about?
Kind of both. The way I kind of look at things is most gyms have that one set of dumbbell rack, and when you look at say a 5 o'clock time where it's really busy, you got two guys doing bicep curls, you got two guys doing stiff-legged deadlifts, you got a couple guys doing some chest exercises. The way we did things here and separating it room to room, at least that frees up all that space right there. So those two guys doing dumbbell curls can now go into the arm room. That frees up two benches over there, and then the guys doing the stiff-legged deadlifts, that they go into the leg room. That frees up the upstairs. So the big thing that I think we've accomplished here is spreading out a space. So people will pull in the parking lot at night. It'll be completely jam-packed, but the way everything is kind of separated and designed, it kind of opens up that flow of people a lot. And as time kind of went on, I was able to watch and see what people needed and see what kind of machines people wanted to use. And if the pec deck's being used a lot, we should probably get another pec deck, or vice versa. So
Yeah, you've definitely got a fair amount of space where you are. Are you happy with where you are, or
I love where I'm at. I love the old mill building. I love the style of it. It gives it that old school vibe with the brick and the old school kind of feel. And it kind of all wraps it all together.
Oh yeah, I was actually more so meaning like, are you happy with where the gym is, or do you have plans to expand, or like what's the future of Prime Fitness?
Future Prime Fitness is eventually expanding into, so this parking lot, as you saw, was a couple buildings in here, and I'd like to really expand that out into more of a bigger complex. Go into the next building, and the ideas for that could be whatever. I could have more personal training in another building. I could do more an old school building. It's getting bigger is definitely going to be the ultimate goal. How I design everything, I guess, will kind of come with time.
Yeah, that'll be cool. We'll hopefully we'll be able to get back up there and see it when you do.
Absolutely.
As you mentioned, the building and talking on the old school feel and the brick and the warehouse and the old mill. I feel like that really kind of enhanced and lent to the atmosphere that you've created. Like you had a really cool old school, like hardcore bodybuilding gym feel.
Yes.
And the members seemed to love it. It seemed kind of like a family there. There were quite a few people that came up to me while I was there and like asked me if I needed anything, or like just kind of talk to me. And a lot of times you'll go to a gym and everybody's got their headphones on and everybody's ignoring each other, and I have no problem with that. But your gym really seems like a community.
Yes.
Are there things that you feel like you've done or that your staff has done to help sponsor that, or did that kind of come about just by the nature of the members?
I think the way we started things in the beginning of the business, with not putting up with any people's bullshit, honestly. If guys are going to come in and harass females, or you're going to leave weights on machines, or you're going to try to sneak your friends in, we nipped it in the butt right there, and you're out the door. And I was known as that asshole in the beginning that was kicking these people out for those reasons, but that's what kind of created this community that we have now. Little things like we have all the attachments for all the cable machines. Everything's got a spot. Everything's labeled. Everybody puts their stuff away. Little things like that, I think, go a long way. One of the big things that I could take away from going to chain gyms back in the day was, if I want to use a rope attachment, the rope's nowhere to be found. It's all the way across the gym. So little things like that people appreciate is a big thing, and I think the more that people started to realize that we did those things, and honestly, my members pretty much take care of that for me. If somebody's new and they're not putting their stuff away, somebody's going to speak up and tell them, for me. whatnot, So I think all those little details kind of come in, and people realize that it is a little bit of a tighter ship that we run here, but it actually plays off in the long run as people kind of go on vacation or they try out other gyms and see that it's not really run the same way. They appreciate those little things a little bit more.
Oh, 100%. And the people who you really want in your gym
Right.
really love that sort of tight ship.
Yes. I think back in the day, I was really chasing for that high gym member count, get as many members in here as possible. But when you really look at it, I would rather have quality over quantity.
Yeah, those are the ones that are going to take care of your equipment, and your equipment's going to last forever.
Yep.
So, how you've owned the gym now for how many years?
Started in 2016, so that's going on 8 years now.
Okay, so you've had a pretty good run, and obviously you started with 1 floor, now you've got 3, and you're looking at doing more. So you've created quite a really nice gym over the last 7-8 years. Do you have any advice that you would want to give to someone who is thinking about owning a gym, or what's one piece of advice that you would give to someone who's thinking about owning a gym?
I think people don't realize how much time goes into it and how much you really have to dedicate yourself to the business. And you have to, I think with any business, you have to do that. You have to really put all your time in. And if anybody who's going to do it, is you got to be ready to work all the hours. You got to really to get people. People are going to piss you off. People are going to break things. People are going to, come and go. People are, you're going to have your busy times. You're going to have your New Year's crowd. You're going to have your die-off time in the summertime. So I think people are just going to be ready for a lot of ups and downs and ready to fork out some money to repair some machines. But once you, I think the best thing that anybody can do is put their foot down in the beginning and, kind of get control of what they want to see their members do. And it should pay off in the long run.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. You want to set the tone right from the beginning, and then your members will carry it for you.
Yeah, I think some people think they want to, you want to be nice to everybody. You want everybody to like you, but at the end of the day, it's your business, and you can't go out of business just trying to please everybody and changing the music station to make everybody happy, or getting only the pieces of equipment that half the gym wants, but ignoring the other half. And
yeah,
and you're going to listen to your members. Those are the ones that are, if you get some good members in there, they're going to keep coming if you keep providing them with what they want.
Oh, 100%. And like we always say, like the equipment will get them in, but the atmosphere keeps them in. So
absolutely. Yep.
So yeah, I didn't have any other questions. Is there anything else you'd like to tell people about your gym? Or?
No, but I mean, if you haven't seen us, feel free to stop by. We welcome bodybuilders to athletes to CrossFitters to really any type. It's definitely a good environment. It's motivating. I've seen a lot of people over the years do a lot of big transformations, whether they were coached through me or just in general coming to the gym. I think the gym can be a very intimidating spot for a lot of people. And if you're looking for a place to start your journey or continue your journey, then feel free to give us a try.
Yeah, definitely check them out. It's a great gym if you're in the Oxford,
Mass. Yep.
Oxford, Mass area, and we'll put a link to the gym website when we post this podcast on YouTube, and we'll put a link to the review down below in the comments. So thank you for coming on, Dave. We appreciate it, and good luck with the expansion.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more great content.